Good day and welcome to this latest Zoomcast. I'm John Wyatt, editor with Walls and Ceilings. Joining me today is our friend Richard Reppert Jr., aka Rick. He's president of RL Reppert of Pennsylvania. The company is no stranger to our pages, nor should it be to our readers, as we have profiled the company a few times. I think there's a cover story in 2018. Hello, Richard, and welcome. How are you today?
Good. How are you, John?
Hey, things are going well. Things are going real well. So,
Good.
For those that may not know you, tell us about the company. What services do you provide? Where in Pennsylvania do you reach? Do you span from Pittsburgh to Philly? Give us just an overview real quick of who you are.
Okay. So I'm Rick Reppert, president of RL Reppert, and we are a commercial wall and ceiling contractor based out of Emmaus, Pennsylvania. Our area of work focuses mainly in the Lehigh Valley area, which is like an Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton area. But we do work up to 1 hour from our office, which will span anywhere from down towards Philadelphia, which is Westchester area. We'll go out a little bit to Reading, up to Scranton, which is a little over an hour, but kind of that triangle. And then we go a little bit into Jersey as well for some of our work.
Excellent. So what type of projects do you work on?
Yeah, so our main scope of work that we do is metal studs, drywall, acoustical ceilings, carpentry, metal composite panels, prefabricated wall systems, wood carpentry, those type of finishes that you'll end up seeing on a project. And typically our projects are assisted living, hospitals, hotels, schools, usually large scale commercial projects, but they can range anywhere from a couple $1,000s to over 10 million.
So the bulk of that obviously is commercial, but do you do any residential?
Very rare that we do. I would say, if I had to put a percentage to it, I would say 100% is commercial. If we do a residential job, it's a real high end project for a general contractor, and it's more like commercial at the end of the day.
Gotcha. So this is cool news for you guys because if I understand right, you are approaching a 50-year anniversary. Is that correct?
We are. That is correct. Yep.
Excellent. So anything special planned?
Yeah, 50 years is not something we take lightly especially our industry, construction. Not many companies get to that point. So it's progress for us, and it's exciting for us to do. We do have we'll end up having a large company event. A couple of years ago, we did one for our 45th anniversary. It was a pretty nice event. But one of the main things we always do when we do these events is we will invite all our past employees, and they're invited to every one of our events. We always invite them and their families to that. So that's always something to keep, something to be proud of, because these people come out and, we haven't seen them for a while. It's nice to see them.
You whip out the grills and have some Dr. Pepper and Pepsi on hand? Something like that?
We actually 2 weekends ago, we had a big company picnic at a local park here. We had it all catered and everything like that. We had a decent amount of people came out with their families or kids, and they were able to, enjoy volleyball, horseshoes, kickball, different events like that, and just have an overall good time at the park.
Excellent. So, hey, Rick, these past couple of years have been pretty funky on a lot of levels, nationally, internationally, and a lot of that comes down to COVID. When this hit, did it impact your company greatly?
I wouldn't say greatly, but definitely it has taught us even more so than before how to be adaptive. That's one of the main things I say all the time is adapt and adjust or sink. And that, if you're not adaptive in this type of industry, it's going to almost solely lead to failure, or definitely not any kind of advancement. This industry is changing all the time. And if you just kind of hold rigid to what you've always done, you're going to struggle.
Now, because of the pandemic, did that impact your labor force? Did anyone quit because of this?
Yeah, so we did have, we obviously were shut down. Pennsylvania shut down all of construction except for essential work. So we had some projects that did continue because we had schools, we had hospital projects that we were able to continue to work on. But unfortunately, most people were off there during that time. And we did lose some people. They changed from the construction industry to something else. We also hired a lot of people because other businesses were in the same boat. So we did bring on quite a few new people as well. It really forced some changes all around for every avenue we do.
And like everyone else, I assume you got real familiar with Zoom.
Yes, yes. Zoom, what do they call it? Like Zoom burned out or something. Yeah, my project managers had to do a lot of Zoom meetings. It was overbearing sometimes, but it got us through, and that's what was essential to keep the operations going.
Something I should have asked up front though is, obviously, Rick, your last name, Reppert, and I know you haven't been working with the company for 50 years. So was this founded by your grandfather or your father? Tell us the history there.
Yeah, so my dad started this business back in 1973 with 4 part-time employees. In the end of the day, the main reason was he needed a job. So he's just started doing drywall work. He liked seeing how the drywall shaped the rooms and actually gave them dimension and, made them uniform. And it grew from there into now including metal stud framing, then acoustical, then now metal composite panels, carpentry, prefab. We just kept growing the company from those 4 part-time employees.
Wow, what a legacy. And currently, can you give me an approximate count of how many people you employ?
We range anywhere from, I'm going to say 50 to 70 employees. It'll fluctuate throughout the year.
Okay. Now, looking into our crystal balls, how do you see the year ending? Are you still actively bidding jobs? Do you have any trepidation about, us moving into some type of correction or a slowdown? What are your indicators telling you?
Yeah, so we have a significant backlog right now of work, which is always a positive, especially going into the second half of this year. I would expect some kind of recession to come, but we have not seen that so far as bidding work. There is a lot to bid out there. Now, some of the projects go away. We did have some projects cancel just because the overall costs of everything are way up. So that's been a big thing that we're trying to be active and proactive about, paying attention to in advance to make sure there is no, that backlog stays filled and that there is nothing shutting down and, hurting us.
So to be more specific, how is business today for you? Would you call it strong? Or are you up from pre-pandemic days, up from last year, down? How would you rate it?
Well, construction in a whole is always an up and down scale, but right now everything is going well. We have a lot, like I said, we got quite the low backlog of work, which is good. So everything's looking positive right now, and we want to keep it focused on that it continues that way, and really make sure we keep building that backlog and having more work as needed.
Now, you'd mentioned earlier about adapting to basically challenges, change, things of that nature. So that makes me think, how has that shaped what your plans are for the future? What type of growth, if any, are you anticipating? Any new branches, territories?
Yeah, one of the main things that we have with adapting is technology. That's a big thing that we have to adapt to. Technology is huge right now in the construction industry. It's far behind some of the other trades and some of the other areas of work. But lately, technology has been huge for us, seeing those advancements. So right now, our focus has always been on our employees. We don't look to be the largest company. We don't look to be the most advanced company. We really do focus on our employees and make sure they feel that as well, and know that they're part of our organization. So right now, we don't have any plans for future locations. Our main focus is, again, on the employees and then growing what we do, into different trades and scopes of work, as well as different areas of work, so we'll expand out a little bit further and further right now.
When you mention technologies, are we talking software, things such as BIM or Takeoff, other types of estimating software, or other types of, I suppose, web-based platforms?
Yeah, and there's multiple different things. I mean, we used to bid on paper years ago. Now everything is digital. Everything's on the computer. All our field staff have iPads and emails, and they can all communicate back and forth. We're using a lot of digital forms, and a lot with the iPads and computers, and then even down to machines. So we have a drywall prefab machine. We have a layout tool that does all the layout automatically. Just different items that have been out over the past few years that we're making sure we bring in to help offset that labor is really what the ulterior motive there is. The shortage of manpower we're able to offset by these additional items.
So that the drywall prefab machine, are you referring to the Grabber Panel Max or something different?
Same thing, different. We have a different brand of it, but it's the same exact concept and same end results.
Was that a game changer for you?
Yes, absolutely. That was something that we actually saw at the Intex Expo down in Florida years ago. We saw it when we were there, came back and decided we need one of those machines. So we purchased a machine. I would say within the first few jobs, it paid itself off and then some. So it's definitely been a big thing. We're using that quite a bit on projects, specifically prevailing wage projects. There's times where we're structurally framing the exterior of the building and we're able to have all the soffits, column wraps, just different shapes that we need already pre-made in our warehouse, sitting there waiting to be shipped out when the time is ready.
Absolutely helps. That's what I've heard, is just how much that saves on labor.
And the quality is far superior to what, even the best finisher can do by hand.
What are some of the significant changes from the past until now within the company? I mean, 50 years is just a great long stretch, but I believe you took over in the last 5 years from your dad. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it was 2016 was when the change went over. And my biggest focus has always been, let's get into this technology. We need to see it. We need to be using it more. Construction over the past, let's say 10 years has picked up speed significantly. My dad will always tell me there was a time where he would come in the morning, get all the guys organized for the day, and then he'd go out and work on the job. And then he would come back and he would take phone calls and, stuff from contractors that he had to deal with. Now it's emails. It's, quick, it's instant. They expect a response quick. So you got to, make those changes to make sure that you can keep up with how fast paced the construction industry is going right now. And that's where technology really comes in hard there to help us out.
And finally, hey, what hurdles do you face in the current climate of the world? So, I mean, maybe the world's just a much more broad term, but I think you understand what I'm getting at. I mean, boy, it's rising costs, gas has to impact you. I mean, it's just forcing everyone to think smarter. Tell us, for you as a company, what are those top concerns you have?
So our biggest concern right now is manpower shortage. As with almost probably everybody everywhere, it's almost like numerous people just disappeared from the world. Or just not for us, it's not in the trades anymore. So we struggle to find that and find skilled people that aren't just there for a paycheck. They're there to do quality work. They want to see themselves advance through the company. They want to see themselves grow professionally. So that's one thing we struggle sometimes to find. And we have picked up some talented people, but it's not like it used to be where you could, place an ad in the newspaper and get 20 people show up at your door. That's just not out there anymore. The next one would be material. Material is a big item for us. There's a lot of delays in production of the materials. There was allocations last year where, you couldn't even get some of the material. And then just the overall price of the material that has jumped significantly since, pre-COVID, let's say. There's metal last year was going up 10% every single month, except for the month of June and July, where it went up 15%. So from beginning to end of year, that's over 120% that the material has increased. And those affect the jobs, significantly. So those are the three main ones. there's some other ones like, other contractors deal with these same issues. So they'll have the manpower shortage or the delay of material, and that ultimately impacts the schedule on the project, and just a lot of the sequencing of how the projects run.
Well, it sounds like you're keeping up with it, and we certainly applaud you on 50 years. That's excellent. As we close here, any colleagues, any distributors, or suppliers, or anyone you want to give a shout to?
We use various suppliers such as Foundation Building Material, L&W Supply, ProBuild. Well, not ProBuild, they're not. But then there's digital software. The Peer Assist program is one that we use every single day on our projects. They're a big help, and then our on-screen takeoff and quick bid is big for us as well.
Well done and well said, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Rick Reppert, thanks so much for your time, Rick, and thank you everyone for watching and listening to this Zoomcast. I'm John Wyatt signing off. Have a great week. Bye now.
Thank you.